Hello, this is co-founder and chief operating officer of Moves the Needle, Aaron Eden, and welcome to our products and services series of training videos. In this video, we're going to focus on just an overview of Moves the Needle as a company and a bit about what innovation transformation means to us. So let's dive right in. Think about a situation where we have empowered large enterprises, large nonprofits and charities, foundations, governments, etc. All of us are creating just a little bit more value for whoever our customers are. If everyone is creating just a little bit more value for their customers, it reduces the cost of innovation and ultimately increases the standard of living for everyone on the planet. So our vision is really to transform the global economy into one where everyone is creating a little bit more value for their customers. The way that we accomplish that is by applying lean innovation inside global enterprises, global nonprofits, local governments. The reason that we focus on the large organizations, on the enterprise side of things, typically more than 10,000 employees, the reason we focus on these larger organizations is because they have the most pain. They've got the most complicated structures. They're multinational. They're spanning across many different geographies. And all of these things cause them to have significant pain around being able to consistently and rapidly create value for their customers. So you can see here some of our customers. This is not all of them. There's a few of the folks that are on the journey with us. If you think about the pace of change today, it's absolutely extraordinary, right? There's startups coming out from all over the place trying to take market share away from these large organizations. There's globalization, digital transformation, sharing economies, etc. This pace of change is actually getting faster every day. And so as innovation transformation architects, we're here to create a sustainable and scalable approach for transformation of these organizations. But to create that level of transformation for a company, we literally need to reshape the hearts and minds of everybody inside the organization. And this requires a very non-dogmatic approach to helping them do that and helping them create more value for their customers. So we're going to meet them where they are. And every time we engage with the organization, we should leave them a little bit more capable than they were when they began working with us, and ultimately taking that transformation program and making it their own. So we educate, enable, and empower individuals across the entire organization to be able to behave a little bit more like entrepreneurs and try to bring that entrepreneurial spirit to the organization. The primary tools that we use for driving this transformation are lean innovation. So this is a combination of agile design thinking and lean startup components. We like to talk about the 3 E's of lean innovation as empathy, experiment, and evidence. So we've got to understand our customers deeply, literally walk a mile in their shoes, understand them at an emotional level so that we can create new value for them that goes beyond their expectations. But what customers say and what customers do are almost never the same thing. And so we've got to run behavioral experiments against those assumptions so that we can generate evidence, which is the data and the insights to inform our decision-making around that new opportunity. So literally anywhere in the organization, around new products and services, around existing products and services, around new processes and approaches, anywhere where we've got uncertainty is a place where lean innovation can be applied. What we're trying to do by combining these methodologies is create high-performing teams that understand how to learn rapidly, how to apply what they're learning to eventually be able to execute effectively on that evidence generated and be able to drive business impact as rapidly as possible. A little bit about why customers should choose Moves the Needle. We've actually done this. We've helped some of the largest organizations to accomplish different levels of transformation because we've actually lived and worked in these organizations. We understand what it's like to drive this level of change inside of an organization. It's really hard and really complex. But remember, we're the experts in lean innovation and transformation, and our customers are the expert in their business. So when you get questions about, have you ever worked in XYZ industry? Almost always the answer will be yes. But then in addition to that, it's important to help the customer understand that there's only a little bit that's special to them and special to their situation. And the rest of it, they are experts in their business. And so these are proven approaches and a scalable methodology that ensure that they can drive this transformation rapidly. Our team is also made up of both successful entrepreneurs and successful enterprise innovators. And so with that combination, we can help these organizations to bring the entrepreneurial spirit in and really understand the uniqueness of applying these in many different industries. So as I mentioned already, every engagement we do with our customers, we should build their capabilities a little bit further. And over time, they should be less dependent on us. Inside the company, we've got to be leading by example. Our customers will be able to see right through things if they see that we are not behaving in the ways that we are teaching them. And so that breaks down into the Moves the Needle core values. We look for how we can consistently create new value, act passionately, measure the impact that we're having, be personally accountable, showing respect for others, apply these principles of lean innovation on a day-to-day basis, ensure that as individuals and as a team and a company that we're growing consistently, and then communicating openly, honestly, and directly with each other, and really driving up that level of transparency, right? This should help you see this is the organization we must be, and this is also the set of behaviors that we're trying to ensure are ingrained in the DNA of our customers. We accomplish this with a globally distributed virtual team. We've got folks all over the place. You can see some of the cities down below there. We're in situations where we're running shorter term engagements like leadership development workshops or sprints or those types of products. Typically, the physical location doesn't matter much, and we can fly folks from pretty much anywhere to accomplish those. In programs like the Accelerator program, our physical location becomes much more important. And so having coaches and mentors and team members that are physically close by is important. So that's our team. Let's dive into what innovation transformation means to us. What we're trying to do is move organizations from the left-hand side of this diagram closer to the right-hand side of this diagram. And the specific amount is going to be dependent specifically on that customer. But number one is a balanced portfolio. So we should be, our customers as an organization should be making investments that are appropriate with where they want to go. And today they're likely investing, 99+% of their time, resources, and money into near-term growth horizon initiatives, and are hoping to do more on further out growth horizons. So we want to help them with creating that managed investment portfolio. The other piece is that they're probably seeing lots of strategic initiatives today that are underperforming. Either they're coming in over budget or over time, or they're not driving the impact that was expected. And so we help them get to the point where they can de-risk these initiatives rapidly and create that impact more quickly. So how do they adapt? How do they behave more agilely? And be able to create bigger impact on those strategic priorities, which also builds a strong foundation for future growth. They're probably in a situation where they've got a high willingness to innovate, but they have low capability for innovation. Lots of people that want to do it but don't know how. And so we're going to build those capabilities, but those capabilities have to be demonstrated by sustained new behavior. We have to see them empathizing with customers consistently. We need to see them making evidence-based decisions and changing the plan based on what they're learning. And we want to measure that speed across the entire organization. And the fourth one is breaking down silos. We want to get from innovation projects that are probably not well aligned with strategy or ill-defined or based on the pet projects that the senior leaders come up with, potentially lack of accountability around these things, and get to the point where we've got these systems and tools and processes and small cross-functional teams that are working together across these different growth horizons and really integrated across the business, not innovation team, out at a separate site doing whatever they want, but integrating those capabilities and practices across the business so that the future state of the organization is flexible and adaptable and can react to change really, really rapidly. The case model is how we measure the progress toward transformation for our customers. So across different types of work, the program will start by kickstarting, right? We want to make sure that we figure out where we're going to start as quickly as possible, get moving, figure out the who, how, and where, and then prove some real business impact through the kickstarting so that then we can accelerate, start to create a real program, make sure that it's tied to the company values and culture and strategy. It now becomes real. What's the actual plan that we'd like to move forward with regarding transforming the organization? The scale comes once we've proven that we can accelerate and that this is working. Now we look at how we change the existing systems and structure and policies and procedures and make this change sustainable at scale, not just individual teams working on things, but empowering across the organization for this to occur. Finally, we've got to reintegrate and embed all of this back into the core operations of the business. This is when it starts becoming the DNA of how the organization works. But this is reintegration of the individuals, reintegration of the insights and the projects that are being worked on back into the core businesses, so that we're not in this sort of duality situation where innovation is kept completely separate from the execution and the other components of the business. We've got to start by helping each customer understand specifically what is their vision for transformation. What is that inspirational goal about how their organization will look different and how they'll benefit as a result of transforming? If you ask any of our customers what innovation means to them, you'll get different answers. And so it's critically important to get aligned and super clear on what that means for their organization, and why they need to be able to change. If you can't get to this specificity, then transformation is going to become either really, really difficult or impossible. So we've got to define the why, make sure that we're not just using buzzwords and we know why we're headed where we're headed. I like to think of transformation as getting to the point where the organization can successfully work across all three of these contexts successfully. So in exploration, this is probably what they're not doing well today, is exploring the unknown, learning new things, creating new value for customers. We've got to help them understand how they measure impact and how they create passionate customers in this context, how they lead differently, how they measure differently, how they incentivize differently. This way of exploring needs to be, it's typically different types of people, and you can think about these three contexts as kind of running three operating systems in the same organization. So we've got to be able to explore as an organization. Once we understand a bit about what value we create for customers and can see that we can create passionate customers, now we need to expand those opportunities. We're going to start to scale them In the scaling, we're going to start measuring profitability. We're going to try to create continuous growth, and we're actually trying to drive profit. Does this business opportunity make sense at scale? Does it still hold up at scale? In the explore mode, we're keeping things pretty small. In expand, we're starting to make it a little bit bigger. Once we prove that this is a viable business model at a larger scale, we must then start integrating it back into the execution engine of the rest of the business. This is why organizations got big and successful, because they learned how to execute their first few business models really well, and they did that well. In that context, we should measure output, we should continuously improve, and we need to drive productivity. We actually know what we're doing here, and so we should be executing on the known successfully. So our goal from an innovation perspective is to move opportunities from explore into expand and then into execute. But these are very different ways of working, different ways of leading, and different ways of measuring. And so we've got to be able to run these side by side in the organization. And that's the vision, is creating companies that can do all three of these things successfully and be able to do it in a repeatable fashion, so that it's not just one-off innovation, but continuous growth and creation of new business models as an organization on a consistent basis. So that wraps up our first video, and I will see you on the next one.